My name is Ray Cheng Wai Lok. I'm from Hong Kong. I'm doing a PhD and I worked on ethics. For my MPhil, I did epistemology. So here we are. I have to set it up a little bit to present my actually an objection. So I want to do a knowledge first virtue epistemology. So the brief outline is to bring these three guys together. Williamson from vagueness, his margin of error, and Sosa seems to be avoiding justification with his talk. It seems that it has to do with luck and competence on a spectrum in the context of Gettier problem. And Chomsky talks about competence and performance and creativity. So I'll bring these three guys together. So suppose that I want to demonstrate what hypothesis testing is. So I'm a very confident speaker, and I think that everyone understands what I'm saying. So that hypothesis that I want to test, I will talk to people, right? Talk to those in the audience. Before I talk to anyone, if I were to believe that everyone understands it, I might land on either way of the truth, right? It might turn out to be true or it might turn out to be false. But after talking to a few people in the audience, I increase the sample size without bias. Then it might be like this, because suppose I talk to those and they turn out to understand what I'm saying. Then if I were to believe everyone understand, I will be like this, right? So this crescent is the margin of error, the risk of believing falsely. And why do I talk about that? Because I want to relate that to aptness. With the basketball case, increasing sample size is like increasing proximity to the basket. It's like moving closer to the basket, dribbling closer to the basket. It's like collecting more evidence, right? So before you collect enough evidence, maybe you're above threshold and you believe that without knowing that you are, it's an apt, if you turn out to be accurate. And if you know your limit, like what Sosa said, then it might be aptly apt. I'll discuss this more a little bit later on with competence. So, and to relate that to safety, that's Williamson's thing as well, and also Sosa's input to philosophy. So suppose I only talk to some student, and that's like this. And if I've talked to all students, so the data collection increases to having talked to everyone in the audience, then if I were to believe that everyone understands, I will certainly land with truth, right? So I'll certainly achieve my aim, that the belief will hit the target. It will be accurate for sure. And that's when the belief is safe, and I believe safely, and that constitutes knowledge. And to use Sosa's idea, the 3S, this is just a driving example. I think I heard it somewhere else. So suppose the traffic lights are functioning well, and I didn't have any alcohol, and that in those situations, the skill is demonstrated with this position about if there are obstacles, I would avoid that. So a skillful driver avoids all obstacles and go home safely. So shape, sobriety, situation, a functioning traffic light. So I talk about this because later on you'll see why. Here I bring in Chomsky because for him, grammatical competence is demonstrated with performance of production of grammatical sentences, right? If I simply translate that into the epistemic realm, epistemic competence would be performance of knowledge production. So of course there involves something external, while grammar may be something internal. So I ignore that difference and just apply performance in this way. It will be a knowledge first virtue epistemology because I'm understanding competence with knowledge instead of explaining cases of knowledge with competence, especially in the context of the Gettier case. And this is something that I want to bring up from the Gettier case because justification seems to be something that's ignored. So suppose a smart student is in a Nobel lecture, let's say about physics, and after insomnia, right? So these three things are the input that I think will relate. An epistemic situation is the evidence. So he's in a situation that's a good situation because the lecturer is talking about things, presenting evidence, factive evidence, explaining things, but he's in a bad shape because he's inattentive after insomnia. He has the epistemic skills, he's intelligent. And what I want to demonstrate is that the relation between aptness and justification is the following. So evidence, knowledge, understanding. Evidence holding it fixed justifies more knowledge with better understanding. So the justification increases if you have better understanding, as in given the data set that I have after talking to a few people in the audience, if I'm better with statistics, if my statistical intelligence is high, if my skill is good, I would understand better about the data set and know more than otherwise, right? So in that case, it would be like you making a shot, a 3-point shot, knowing your limit, but hitting the mark. And that's how you, if I turn out to know that everyone understands what I'm saying, that would be an aptly apt performance. Okay. So, and in that case, I would have taken some risk because it was with incomplete evidence. I haven't talked to everyone. I took that risk. It's like shooting basketball at a distance given a certain distance. And of course, I would do that if I know that I'm competent. But knowledge of competence is not in a way that you're sure that you're infallible. It sounds like if competence is constituted by right performance, which is knowledge production, the knowledge of competence would entail that you know, right? But even if that, you would still...
Please wind up, Ray. Please wind up because we're already running late.
Okay.
Maybe we can cover it in a lecture. We can come back after the lecture.
Okay. So okay. I just 2 more slides. So even if we know that we are linguistically competent, we will still proofread our writing. So that's one demonstration of knowledge of competence without a higher order. I end with this slide. So this is a very bold formulation of safety and sensitivity. So mediated with evidence, safety obligates believing only fact, and sensitivity would be to believe all fact. And this is the counterexample I want to give to Professor Sosa, which is, suppose there's a student who did not suffer from insomnia. He slept well last night. He's attentive at the Nobel lecture, but after presenting the materials, he did not come to know a certain fact. He did not come to, he's insensitive to certain truths, as and that insensitivity seems to indicate incompetence. So if this is the case, then sensitivity, competence, sensitivity interacts with whether someone knows in terms of competence. So yeah, so that's it.